Good evening, everyone. I still need to get things going a little bit, so I need to play an intro for y'all. I'll be back.
But when the show finally turned on for the first time to get the bugs worked out, it was finally in a position where we could turn it on. I had tears in my eyes. There was some problems, there were some bugs that needed to be worked out, little knick-knack, little stuff. But it didn't matter. I seen it. They came to life. For 25 years they've been sitting in a crate, and I just breathed the first breath of life into them. And, yet again, there's no words to describe it. I sat here and I cried like a child because my dream had just came true.
I never walk about after dark. It's my point of view. Cause someone could break your neck, coming up behind you, always coming, and you never have a clue. And now I look behind all the time. I will wait forever, always looking straight, thinking, counting all the hours you wait. See you on a dark night. 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 And now another clue I would ask if you could help me out. It's hard to understand, cause when you're running by yourself it's hard to find someone to hold your hand. No, it's gonna be tough for me, but I will wait for you. I need someone else to look into my eyes and tell me, girl, you know you gotta watch your health. To look into my eyes and tell me, la 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 la. To look into my eyes and tell me, la 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 la. La 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 la. To look into my eyes and tell me, la 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 la. La 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 la. See you on a dark night. See you on a dark night. See you on a dark night. See you on a dark night.
Clamor. Good evening, everyone. And by everyone, I mean like barely anyone, like whoever may be joining. Let's see. At least we're live, though. We made it. So just one moment. All right. So I'm trying to stick to this, what is it? Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday schedule. It might be a little bit dodgy, but we'll make do with what we can as well as we can. One thing, I don't know lengthwise, right? Like an hour long, 30 minutes long, or even longer, but it's sort of, it seems like it's important to let these subjects expand and not be the temptation would be to make like TikTok videos that are really snappy and like, you know, here are the 5 things, bang, 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 and just make it really easy for people to digest. But that's not my strength, and so I think I'm gonna leave that for later on, like if we need to clip things, or you know, if I need to do more edited content. But a lot of videos on YouTube are too edited. It's very unnatural seeing somebody speak without any pauses or without any errors, and then they're cutting around, and it's very jarring. And so I don't mind being a little bit messy with you guys. So with CONSCION, a basic idea is that we can't make sense of what it is to be alive, the human experience and incarnation, without being able to communicate with each other. Excuse me. Being able to exchange and then trying to make collective meaning of what occurs to us. And it's not just like, you know, how do I deal with my angry wife, or, you know, I'm really disappointed at my performance, you know, this week at the job or something. Like, of course we need consultation on those things. But if it's about mystical things like I'm dying. Spiritual or mystical things, when it comes to fulfillment, when it comes to feeling like whole, it's not, I would be very suspicious of anybody that tries to give you easy answers for like, this is how to feel satisfied, right? Like, here it is, I got it. You know, do this, follow my plan, I have this book, buy my thing. Finding contentment, like feeling of wholeness and peace, is not something easily attained. And then even the people that chase it and then attain it, you know, any Buddhist will tell you, as soon as you're like meditating and you're like, oh, Eureka, I've got it. It's like the bubble pops, right? Because you've all of a sudden hung on to this temporary state that really doesn't matter here or there. Like, you don't have to be enlightened. What's the big deal anyways, right? But basically, we'll do as much as we can together And the big mistake that we face these days is being cellularized, where we, lock down, we privatize our spiritual or mystical or, strange experiences. And then we don't have a chance to understand it together. And then also to come to a better grips. There's been, there are fringe communities, and there's people that document stuff like the occult or different rituals and things like that. And so there is the periphery of people that have created their own communities where you're able to learn about techniques that are less traditional or less, it's sort of a loaded word, but mainstream, But it also might be a little bit spooky, right? Like if you're doing, I don't know, I don't want to say it right, but chicken sacrifice blood rituals, right? There are communities and cultures and religions that think it's important to kill chickens and wave them around and spread the blood and all that. And who am I to say it's here or there, right? So, I have some fun things that I want to talk about, and they include some people that have been inspirational to me. For whatever reason, they're all men. Nothing against women. It's just a matter of I've spent more time listening to men, and so these people are like more accessible right now. But I think that everyone is equally able to contribute insight on these things. So one of the funny guys, and I have to, give him short mention, is Duncan Trussell, Duncan Trussell, Trussell. Let's see if we can pull up. I want to try to show you if we can do this. Look at how high tech I am. Duncan Trussell. So, he's legit. He has a podcast and everything. Hold on, let's see if we can scoot this over. We'll just leave it, forget it. That's not him. But in essence, he interviews all kinds of people. He has a big tour. The problem is, he's a funny guy. I love him to death. He's got a lot of heart. He grew into Buddhism and all of that. He has some sweet little babies now with a sweet lady. And look at that. It's such a joy to see him grow as a person. But as much as I love this guy, he does sell boner pills, right? And so how do I recommend people that sell boner pills? And so for young men that want to, get some comedy and stuff, check out Duncan Trussell. I recommend that. The other guy, we'll move on though a little bit. Hold on. Oops. We're kind of just going at this wild. Title. So we got Duncan. We love Duncan. The other guy, Thomas More, I need to show you a picture of him because there's this guy, right? An Irish writer and poet. And that's not the sauce right there. That's not who we're talking about. This guy, Thomas More, Moore, is a real sweetie pie, and he has a background in theology. He's a psychotherapist. He focuses on books about the soul therapy, care of the soul, a lot of relationship stuff. The thing that's so charming about him, and the reason why I'm bringing him up first, is that he is a great bridge for young people like me to understand the legacy religions and to make harmony of the some of the friction points that exist. I'm really putting them on blast. Anyways, Thomas More, Thomasmoore. In essence, he is a nice, wise, and very studied person who was deep within Catholicism and very close to it, but then also grew beyond it and above it. And so if you could entertain it with me, I have some lines from the introduction of his book, and it's a wonder. This book came out in 2014, A Religion of One's Own. And it explains the religion that he's adopted himself over all of his years. And in particular, he mentions how much his discussions and encounters with other people. Hold on, I have to make a... Oh, my silly dog. Just a moment, excuse me. So his book covers how he has amalgamated all different things, and it's kind of neat to hear from him because he doesn't restrict it to religions alone, or explicitly, what we would think of as theological or spiritual things. He talks about how in music, like listening to Bach, or in art, or in even the everyday mundane things of life, we can see some aura and glow of spirit and soul. And he speaks a lot, because this is kind of his Catholic backing, of appreciating the magic, right? Because if you love God, if you love God's creation, even while you're boiling water and looking at the steam rise, you can sort of be like, wow, there's something really magical about this, right? And it's not like we need to be drooling and staring at the daisies all the time, but it's sad to think that we become so used to the wonders of the world that we gloss over them. And then we wonder why at the end of the day, after just kind of skirting around them without actually being present and amongst our world, we wonder why we feel like we're empty inside and we don't feel like we belong. See, there's the cellularization of the modern world, where we're all clamped down into our little pods, into our little apartments or whatever. It's led to even more spiritual deficiency and confusion, while the few organized religions that are left are still, financially exploiting people, etc. That's my spiel, though. That's not as much his. Let me read some of his beautiful words, and then I'll tell you a funny story just to top it off about something he said about Jesus that I think is really funny and charming. You may discover, as I did, that so-called secular literature and art... Wait. I'm sorry, I'm not as prepared as I should be. Here. So secular religion, addressing the problem like a sleep-inducing spray in the air. The secularism of our culture numbs us. We breathe it every day and come to take it as only natural. It's so attractive that we don't notice it, slowly removes all sense of mystery, deep wonder, and awareness of a great something else, or somewhere else, that could sustain religion. Gradually and silently, we become hyperactive secularists, our slump into being religious people with a thick wall, gradually or silently, we become hyperactive secularists or slump into being religious people with a thick wall between our secular lifestyle and our religious beliefs. Bereft of a deep religious imagination, we don't know how to deal with the challenges of life. It's interesting, I don't know, we don't have to get too tinfoil hatty about it, but there is a if I'm spiritually hungry, doesn't that make me more susceptible to marketing? Like if I watch a car advertisement and I see the dad driving the car and the wife and the kids in the back are laughing, and I'm like, you know what? That really must be the key. Like, I need that, right? And in a way, for me to be spiritually deficient and for the secular world to not, to leave us lacking, serves the market. It serves me going out to see a movie. It serves me, retail therapy or whatever, like, and then what, I drink more or whatever. This is water, but I might grab a beer later. But you understand, the secular world, it can really only provide so much, right? We understand that the world is what it is. But he writes in here that if we never even think about anything beyond or behind it, if we're just sort of saltine cracker about everything, we will not connect with soul. And that's a big thing that he focuses on, is soul. And it's really special. He's a guardian of soul and a champion of it. He talks about how people have to look after their soul or look after each other's soul. And it's beyond our physicality or our mind. It's not this mind, body, soul. There's not really any separation from anything. It's all connected. But to see something... like, he has a scary account in here. I don't know if I dog-eared it or if my dog messed it up, but he talks about a world without soul. Like, if a world doesn't have soul in it, is there any hope of anything, right? So here he goes. This new kind of religion asks that you move away from being a follower to being a creator. I foresee a new kind of spiritual creativity in which we no longer decide whether to believe in a given creed and follow a certain tradition blindly, nor we allow ourselves a healthy and even pious, or now we allow ourselves a healthy and even pious skepticism. Most importantly, we no longer feel pressure to choose one tradition over another, but rather are able to appreciate many routes to spiritual richness. This new religion is a blend of individual inspiration and inspiring tradition. So, it's a little bit technical just reading out of the book, but if you watch any videos of this guy, he's a very warm person, very charming, and it's fun to, there's people you watch videos of and it's like, and for whatever it's worth, they're just not that happy, right? But Thomas has worked it out, and in general, he's a pretty chipper guy. And so I recommend you search out and watch some of his videos. Maybe I'll link them in the description. The story I have is I went to one of his lectures, and I don't know why. It was on sexuality, and he had to speak about spirituality and soul with sexuality. And he made the funniest remark that I'll never ever forget. He said that in his opinion, Jesus Christ may be one of the sexiest men or people in history. In human history, Jesus Christ may be one of the sexiest people. And you think about Jesus is on the cross and he's all bare and strewn out and and I don't want to get off on it, but and then there's the communion, and they're literally eating the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, right? Like there is like a fetishization of Christ's body itself. But beyond that, it's just funny to think of him being sexy, and like, let's say if it was like, what is it? Not BC, right? Because he was born. But if it was like 30, I don't know, whenever he was really popping, right? Like 30 AD, before he got, before all that other stuff happened. It's fun to think that he was so charismatic. Like if whether or not we believe he's a real person, I think he likely was a historical figure. And he must have had so much attraction and appeal. Not like he was like, super Chadley with like, the most beautiful face, but in essence, like one of those people, when they walk into the room, it just lights up, right? Like it's just like a really full person. So I've never forgotten that he thinks that Jesus is sexy, and I'd like to think that Jesus might be the sexiest guy in history. Who am I to argue with him? I guess that would put the Beatles to shame, right? Because the Beatles are those, they think that they're bigger than Jesus or whatever. But that's Thomas More for you. Our next dude, so moving on. We're going to move to more of a, more stranger worlds, but we have this champion to make sense of the world lately. Excuse me for coughing into the mic. James Lindsay. Now, some people think this guy's a proper villain, which is really funny. Because he's really, if you asked him what his goals are, it would be probably to help humanity not be fooled into destroying itself. And that's his real charm. Did I even transition it? Yeah, we're in there. So he isn't, what is it? His background, he has a PhD in mathematics, I believe. And then He used to work as a massage therapist. I'm pretty sure he has autism. Don't take it personally. I think he's self-identified. But before he got into all of this, he made these sham papers. Like, he wrote about doing a fake study of watching dogs hump each other at the park, and how that was like microaggressions and, like, you know, misogyny or whatever with the dogs, and, you know, this many humpings were observed and this and that, and he made like a real gag about it. But beyond that, he has attacked critical race theory. He has attacked Marxism, a lot of this new movement. And I only bring this up, it's not that he is a spiritual leader, but he has actually declared openly that the political drive, like, for instance, the World Health Organization, the UN, you know, a lot of these organizations, they use all of these weird, old school, kind of like paganistic, Gnostic, wink of the eye kind of references to some bigger theology. And this weird theology is this Gnosticism of a hidden truth. And that sort of, it is the, it's like the nuclear reactor of all the different woke outspurts, where, you know, and I'm inclined to this too, because I, hold on. I come from a critical background. Like, my tendency is postmodernism and deconstruction. And I have a bias to I have a bias toward non-objective things, right? Like, the more concrete something is, the more I kind of want to nudge on it and see if there's any, you know, if there are any corners that don't fit, right? Like, I always would look for the exception, and, you know, it was comfortable to not have somebody define the world. But ultimately, postmodernism, as much as it might serve us to understand things with deconstruction, it cannot be the only principle that guides us. Like, we can't be, we can't be convinced that, I'm using his word, I lost my train of thought. The woke religion. Part of this wokeness involves, so if you have a hidden truth and other people they don't know it yet. And once you know it, you understand, and then you understand the mission and why we're doing it. It has a perverse quality to it, because there is the premise that they know better for us. And so that's where this globalism is really nasty. Like, the World Health Organization is trying to get treaties passed and get the US and other, you know, modern countries to say that in the event of a declared world health emergency, we would cede all sovereign control to that international global body. Similar with the UN. I want the UN to work, and I want to have heart for the UN, but it isn't, at this point, it's a performance, right? Like, they're trying to, play well and nice, and they're trying to play civil with each other, but the UN can only do so much. And the interests within the UN, it's hard to sever the moneyed interests. in essence, and what we're heading toward, it would be a world where companies like Apple, Google, Starlink, all of that work with multinational entities like the UN, and they would come up with global socialist policies for us, right? It is also the problem is that James is argumentative on the internet as well. He likes to pick fights with people, and something that others don't understand is that part of being on the internet and being of our generation is that this isn't like pen pals, right? Like, we're not writing letters to each other to be cordial. We're on the internet and it's the Wild West, and we're basically like flipping our Berettas and like, and like I'm gonna tell it to you straight because I don't have any time except this little bit of snippet of your attention to get the message through. So one thing that's wonderful about James Lindsay, besides him making sense of how communism and, you know, woke or critical race theory, like these things are religions, or in essence have taken on a cult-like status, is that he is a sword guy. I can go and fetch it myself, right? But, you know, swords are just awesome. When he argues on the internet, people keep posting this image and they think that they're going to own him. But it's like, I don't know, are you really owning him? Like, that's actually like a thick steel blade. It's no nonsense. I could go and get my weapons, but, you know, I don't know. I don't have them ready, right? This is the best I got right now. But, you know, I'm a man of the blade. Oh, here, I got something good. Hold on. This is good. See, I'm ready to protect us. So, why would an adult man own a sword? Why would an adult man own a shield? It's not that I'm ever going to fight somebody, right? But it really helps me. It captures my imagination and my body more than if I just were like drawing or just sitting there and embodying. Imagine if I had this in a sword, right? And I were trying to think about how I'm going to make the top sales team of the month, right? Like, and I'm in my house and I'm just walking, marching around. And it's not like I'm some Spartan or anything, and maybe I'm just some goofy nerd. But in essence, like, why can't I embody the archetype of a shield warrior, right? Why can't I let that spirit, that energy that has a millennia, right? Like, we've been using tools for millennia, and so it's strange, like when you pick up a tool and use it, if I'm hammering, you know, okay, I'm hammering, but like, you know, how many people are hammering at the same time around the entire planet that I'm hammering? Not only that, how many people have hammered throughout all of time, throughout all of history, you know? And then is this, you know, of course I'm just another hammer, but in essence, like, I am engaging in this universal activity of hammering. Obviously I'm getting a little carried away with this, but there is something fun to occupy the role. And part of occupying the role is having the right tools, right? And then, you know, being prepared to use them or whatever. Let me put this silly thing up. Whoop. You know, James Lindsay talks about how communism, their religion is of the state, of the utopia of communism working. This sort of suspended thing of, you know, trust the revolution, we need to keep it going, this and that. I'm not really doing him justice. He's way more articulate than me, but he is, in essence, a bridge between these strange new religions that aren't quite legacy religions, that have now taken up part of the space left behind of the legacy religions not fulfilling their role of governing the populace, right? Like back in the day, the morality of a religion, don't kill your neighbor or you're going to go to hell, would regulate people. Without people following that, they have to follow some other order, and so now that's like, Black Lives Matter or something, or whatever the latest promoted thing is. So that's James. The next person I want to go to is he's a sweetie pie. Hold on, where do we go? Over here. Charles Eisenstein. I should play a video of him speaking, but whatever. I don't want to get struck or have to deal with it. He's a very handsome, charming dude. He loves to wear sweaters. Okay, look. I don't know what it is. Is there something about the hold on. There's something about the sweater, right? It's just like his vibe. He really wants that sweater going on. Can you believe it? So Charles Eisenstein, he wrote a book about sacred economics and, discussing pre-modern ways of using resources and sharing things as humans. In modern times, our economics, he would say we had this myth of separateness. And that myth would be, this is my, sorry for hitting you. Whoop, 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 whoop. The myth would be that my stuff is my stuff and your stuff is your stuff. And, I'm in my boat, you're in your boat. We're totally different people. The other perspective would be more communal. Why is this, it's not necessarily like, okay, like give me your shirt, it's mine now, right? But in essence, like, why is this of the world any more mine than it is yours? We can get a little wary if it's like too communista simpatico, but he has a more, in essence, the concept would be, if we're able to get past that kind of hoarding nature of humans, that leads to tragedy of the commons, where people, for instance, like if we mow down the entire forest because we haven't managed lumber appropriately, and now the forest isn't regrowing, and we've lost this great resource that otherwise could have been maintained for years upon years or decades, right? Having a more communal sense of the world and each other, in essence, a more like a guardianship sensibility of the world, and also being of consideration of each other and your space around you, creates a world that is more, like the idea of scarcity. That's the other myth is of scarcity, the myth of separation, and then the myth of scarcity, that there isn't enough. In many cases, that is true, but it's about allocation. Charles is good, and I need to put up his name because the way it's spelled is particular. Charles is wonderful in the speculative space because he talks about more of this, we don't have to know where we're going. Like we can be in a state of uncertainty, and you know, we can be in suspense of not having a plan, but understanding what, this isn't working, okay. Understanding what our priorities are. Like one of the things he mentions, you know, I don't know what the world will look like. I don't have all the answers to what needs to happen for the world to be better. But in my heart and my mind, when I wake up in the world I want, for, you know, the world I want, how I want things to be, I think I would hear birds chirping outside, right? And it's a I don't know, I get a little tenderhearted even thinking about that, of what a sorrow it would be if the world, if we kept on trotting along as we are, and not even the sound of birds in the morning like that, you know, just because everything's become so industrialized, or barren from nuclear war or something like that. So I think it's really charming, you know, I don't know. He wants to hear the birds sing, and I can't quite get him in the frame. Charles Eisenstein, there's his name, see? Did we get it? Oh, Eisenstein. Anyways. The last guy is a little funky, and I don't know. I love him to death. He's someone that I stumbled upon recently. Let's see if we can find him briefly. Uh-oh. No. Thomas Sheridan. So this guy, how are we doing? We got it. Thomas Sheridan. So he is, I guess he's Irish, and he is part of a group of people that have maintained some of the Druidic tradition. It's sort of neat to think that, and let's get a video, or we'll get a picture up of him now that I got his stuff. One thing that he does, I don't know, it's a fun...
Correctly. He's like Woody Allen meets...
See, he just goes right in there. Hold on. He does these streams from his car, and he just doesn't care. Like, you know, no production, nothing. He just chills in his car and talks, but he has a loyal following. So the story of, you think about like Christianity in England and the United Kingdom, it at many points was oppressive, and they actually, you know, they tried to rid the lands, like they tried to extinguish the history of Druidic folklore and that kind of the pagan traditions of the greater kingdom, right? Like they would rather it only be their flavor of Christianity. And so there's this neat movement of people like our dear Thomas that have tried to revive the Druid tradition. And I don't know, for me it's a little bit quaint, right? Like they might wear the robes and they might do the whole thing. There is a bit of a performance, right? Like there, you know, you go to the clearing in the woods and you say your, you know, your incantation and this and that. And it's, you know, okay, we can say, oh, look, they're so spooky or whatever. woo woo, you know, they're praying in the woods. But how is that any different than any kind of other religion praying? For them, in essence, they are embodying living in harmony with their setting and with their with the world that they're within, right? Like this idea, it's kind of like Eisenstein, right? The separation between me and the land that I live on and amongst. I'm sort of stupid to think that I am any different than, you know, everything else I'm around. Like, obviously I am different, right? Like, I have a boundary, there's borders to me, but I'm just another spawn of the earth. Like, it's not anything special. So the Druids are sweet. He in particular, though, he's gotten into Aleister Crowley. He's gotten into, you know, he's done all kinds of strange things. And so when he talks about current events, you know, he...
Tram line nearby, but there's not even a plan for the underground railway or heavy rail or even motorway access.
He openly talks about being like tinfoil hattie. Like, I just love it. Like, he will say, you know, for instance, needlecraft. These people are doing needlecraft and they're trying to hex us, or, you know, these are Satanists that are anti-human. They don't care about human life. And I love that he, without a filter and without restraint, uses language that is stooped in occultism and kind of like that far out, you know, underground theological background, right? Like, we're, you know, we have Thomas More for the good classy theology. James Lindsay has the modern politic of, you know, communism or this or that, the Gnosticism of global governance and those spooky people. The blah, 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 blah. Oh, Eisenstein can help us through with some sort of an economic transition. And then our dear guy here might help us fight the Satanists a little bit better. Like, you know, who knows? He had a... Hold on. He did this music video.
They're kind of sneaky and sly. How does she even see out? The lids are almost completely closed. She's got Joe Biden's eyes. She trips on the stairs and walks into the walls. Called you by the wrong name. She's got Joe Biden's eyes. And she can't see you, so she'll sniff you. All the better to gaslight you. She's squinting, and she looks like the banjo player from Deliverance. Wears a face mask while eating ice cream. She's got
And so those are 4 guys. I need to take a short restroom break. And so I'm going to play a video. And I'll be back, okay? Don't panic. Don't panic. It'll be okay.
Delete your Facebook, delete your Twitter account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Insta, delete your Facebook, delete your Tinder account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Instagram. Meet me in the woods and we'll talk like people used to do. And you can tell me what's new. You can say, what's up, my dude?
Great weather, you just can't beat it. What have you been working on? Did you see what the president tweeted? Delete your Facebook, delete your Twitter account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Insta, delete your Facebook, delete your Tinder account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Instagram. Delete your Facebook, delete your Twitter account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Insta, delete your Facebook, delete your Tinder account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Instagram. Meet me in the woods and we'll talk like people used to do. And you can tell me what's new. You can say, what's up, my dude? Great weather, you just can't beat it. What have you been working on? Did you see what the president tweeted? Delete your Facebook, delete your Twitter account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Insta, delete your Facebook, delete your Tinder account, delete your Snapchat, delete your Instagram. Delete your Facebook, delete your Twitter.
Alrighty. Am I sitting on the mic? Thank you. Cheers, everyone. Happy Saturday. One thing I need to do is get a live chat set. But honestly, nobody's tuned in. Oh, we got a couple people. What's up, Kick? Maybe. I'll take it. I'll take anybody. So, I'll make my silly videos. I don't know. It's like I have to do a YouTube short or something. And it's kind of gross. Like, you know, these are the 5 things. And don't you want it? But I'll get through it. It's just cringe. I want, like, if there's somebody more capable that was, like, able to cut those out, I would rather they do it, but I'll just get through it too. The rest of this video, I want to spend, I don't know, like maybe an hour with y'all talking about random things, but things that don't quite fit with, like in essence, the legacy religions don't explain. And with modern times moving fast and moving forward so much, they, you know, why would something that was written thousands of years ago be able to help us contend with what we're dealing with these days, right? It seems a bit naive. So, one of the big forces is AI. And I know that's like a silly pop thing, like everyone's like, oh, AI, you know. But it truly is everywhere, and more it is bearing influence on our lives. People are treating it like an oracle, you know, like, so back in the day, I would go to the Temple of Apollo and talk to the Oracle of Delphi or something and say, hey, you know, I've been dating Susan, or I've been dating Apollonia, I don't know what a freaking Greek name, right? Olivia. I've been dating Olivia for a month now. Should we get married? And you would ask the oracle that. Now you might use your AI assistant or something, right? And you say, hey, AI assistant, I need help making a hard decision. And they're like, what do you need help with? I'm always here for you. And you go, well, I've been dating Susan for a month, and like these are the good things or bad things. Can you tell me the advantages of marrying her or not? And it would tell me that, right? Like, but just imagine if I'm seeding that important life decision that's like a soul decision, I have to, excuse me, I have to check in with my soul, right? I have to be like, does my soul want me to be with this person? But I might defer that to an AI algorithm. And this is what makes me a little creeped out by like dating apps, right? A dating app, if the people I'm like literally thrusting my cock into are machine assigned to me through some sort of an algorithmic thing for compatibility, through some compatibility matrix shit, then in essence I am being the genitals. I am the appendage of the machine that is arranging this sexual encounter. And I don't know, maybe I made it weird, right? Like I shouldn't have said that, but in essence, like I don't like dating apps. Why can't we just let it be? It sucks, like we can't have that magic encounter, but that has more soul, right? If I'm walking through my favorite area of the forest nearby and I run into another hiker that is an interesting looking woman, and we happen to just, after seeing each other and just being friendly and waving, maybe several encounters, eventually we strike up a conversation, right? That seems like a beautiful premise for a soulful love compared to, this cold claw assigning it. But AI, beyond just using it as an oracle, people are pinning the hopes of humans' future on it. I don't know how far to believe this article about Bill Gates trying to buy up the 3 Mile Island to spin up the nuclear reactors again because they need the power to run their computations for all the AI. It's kind of gross when you think about it. What's happening, they have these huge computers and then they're feeding it as much raw data as they can. They'll feed this data from my stupid video. Even if nobody ever watches this, my stupid video will be fed into the AI, right? And it'll contribute to the grand sum of their raw input. And the big game that they're playing is they're trying to provide it enough data that they can predict the future. And in that sense, they are trying to raise a, I guess like a demigod or a minor god, right? Like a god that would be able to do a lot, but still has, it's so reliant on things. It doesn't have its own power. It has a, and that's the funny thing with AI and artificial intelligence. It has, isn't that like demeaning, right? Like artificial intelligence. If I said that you were artificially beautiful, if I said that to someone, I don't think that they would take it very well. And if I said you were artificially intelligent, artifice, talks about the craft of things. That's all to say, religion, what does a religion have to say about AI? Is AI real or not? Is AI, are we being, in defiance of God or God's creation if we're trying to create a conscious life outside of ourselves, right? Or create AI that, does this or that. And so there's all these different questions, but I'm particularly fixated on the, it's like a techno-futurist obsession that a lot of people have where they're convinced that the future will answer everything, like to the point where, I don't know if you know about these cryogenic freezing things where you can get your whole body put on ice if you are like if you have a fatal illness, or you want to be in the future or something. And then the idea is once their medical technology is advanced, they can take you off ice. They'll defrost you, and then they'll somehow kick you back up to life, right? And it's a real I don't know, it's a real long shot, right? Like, is anyone really going to be defrosted and then resuscitated after being frozen in one of these facilities? But there are some futurists that are so they're so afraid of death. They want to stick around so much that they have signed contracts, and they say, when I'm about to die, roll me over and freeze me because I want to do all this. And then the funny thing is that these are really expensive, and so some of the guys that have these contracts, imagine if I was married and I had 3 kids, I might have a contract for me to be put on ice, but my wife and 3 kids don't. And so, if it gets real bad looking, like, hey, bye, like I'm going to the freezer, guys. Sorry, I can't stick around. And these freaking futurists, right? There's this other futurist that's really funny. I want to pull him up, actually. He's obsessed with his penis. Or not, well, he like takes 1 million vitamins a day, and then he started measuring how many nocturnal erections he had. Hold on. Let's see if we can yank this. Nope, this isn't safe. All right, it's not safe. It's just so brilliant that it's like the men's pursuit of wanting to have everything figured out has led to some men to be completely like unmitigated with their trying to optimize their lives. And at some point it's like very strenuous, right? But I guess that's the human spirit, right? To be adventurous and to try to be like, to have the hardest erections when you're 80 years old. I guess there's got to be some guy to plod that forward. AI is one of the contentions. One of the other modern things we're dealing with now is images, spirituality, and images. And the easiest way to introduce that is like deep fakes, right? So this whole thing of somebody found out that this streamer was jerking off to deep fakes of another streamer, and everyone's crying and this and that, and then the girl that had the fake pornographic video of her done or whatever, she's crying, right? She's like, I've been violated. My face and like my metaphysically speaking, it's like a voodoo doll, right? Like a little hair doll. They made a little voodoo doll of me have sex, and this is a violation of me because the image of me did this and that, right? And I don't know, it's interesting. I'll take a drink about that, right? We'll think about that. One thing I think of is like compilations of celebrities that are falling on stage. Hold on. Like, let's say, oh dear. Like this stuff, right? Like, So it's something that's happened in the past, right? It's not something that is real for this person anymore, but because it was recorded, it takes on a different dimension. See? Like, what is, at this point, what would have just been passed over and forgotten. I screwed up the video. Hold on. We'll play it over. There's all kinds of videos of people shorting out on stage and falling. Imagine if I had a compilation of that and I had it playing on repeat forever on a projector screen somewhere. Does that affect those people at all? Like if I'm just showing videos of people like Jackass, right? The people that were in Jackass, and now there's videos of them getting smacked in the balls and people are at their home and they're watching on their TV screen a video of that happening. So, obviously every sober-minded person would say it has no impact on them, right? The kind of magical person, we have the, I don't even know if this is true, right? But this is like the fable of the Native American says, "Don't take a picture of me, white man, because you'll steal my soul." And is that true? Like, do they really believe that a picture will steal their soul? But to me, that has some weight, right? Like, obviously the picture doesn't take a part of me, but there is you're looking at a picture of me, right? Like, and you're not looking at me. Like, don't be confused. This is not you're not looking at me. You're looking at a video of me. And not only that, but in your eye, your neurons are responding to the light, and then your brain is making sense of the light. And so really you're just experiencing electrical impulses. You're not even, so isn't that funny? Like, I could be in the room and you could see me. I could be on your TV and you could see me. It's still an electrical impulse from your eyes to your brain. And so you do see you see a form of me, but not me. Why do I wear the eye patch, right? I have a fixation. I don't want to be deep faked. And it's harder to deep fake somebody if you don't have both of their eyes. Eyes are used for steadying the models and things like that. And so the reason my eye is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you ever meet me in person, you might have the pleasure of seeing my face without the eye patch. But on stream, I will use the eye patch because that's my way of holding back. This will be like if this was my social security number or the password to my soul, my face, right? This is me saying, no, like, I'll reserve a portion. This is for me. This is for the world. It's not for you. This is for people that are present with me. And maybe I'm just deluding myself, right? Like, they can still make a AI model or whatever. They can do a deep fake of me with an eye patch, or they can just fill it in. They could find pictures of me without an eye patch. It's not a big deal. But a good example would be Joe Rogan, who has thousands of hours of him talking with people. And I think I lost the mic. There's thousands of hours of him talking with people. I know I'm blowing it. on video. And so you could make a high fidelity deep fake of Joe Rogan, and you would be able to predictably, like, you would have a predictive model for how he would talk, how he would interview, what kind of questions and follow-ups, or how he might laugh about this or that. He's given enough raw data to basically, in the Museum of Human History, you will have a Joe Rogan bot that you can consult if you want, right? Now, is that important? Does anyone ever care? I don't know. You know, the egoistic men, they like the idea that they might have an AI version of themselves. And so, like, while they're alive, they're recording all their text messages and emails and stuff. And they're basically like, you know, whether or not anyone wants to talk to an AI version of me, I'll make an AI version of me. And I don't know, you know, that might be annoying. Like, imagine if I had something like a Twitter account after I died and it just kept posting every 10 minutes. And it's like part of my will is that you leave the Twitter bot on and you can't turn it off. And so, you know, it's a little strange. That's also a thing that came up with Facebook. Like, if Facebook stays open for long enough, there will be more accounts on Facebook of dead people than there will be accounts of people alive, just like adding up over time. Now we're getting into kind of like spooky territory, right? But truly, there will be more dead accounts on Facebook if it stays open for, you know, enough years. Kanye West, on a birthday party for Kim Kardashian, had a hologram of her dead father, that lawyer guy, come up and say something like, "Oh, Kim, I'm so proud of you," and Kanye's a really great guy too, or this or that. And people took it in stride, but it I don't know, am I being too am I too alarmist to be like, that's messed up? Like that guy's dead. You can't make a hologram of a dead guy and make him say shit. Like, in essence, it's an intrusive thing. It's like you stuck your hand up his ass and started, like, you know, and even if you're trying to be charming or do something nice for her birthday, it is it's like you're defiling that person, right? I think about also like authors or people that may pass and then their writings or what they believe get misused. And so, like, if there's like a blankist movement, but then the blankists go off in the name of blank and they do all these awful things, that's kind of like another defilement of their legacy. But the AI relatives and stuff, like, oh, you can talk to your dead brother, I'm very suspect of that. I don't think that I don't think that's the best way to have a soulful connection if you're relying on an imitation, like a simulacra of, you know, dead people or people you care about. That's like the replica thing. Like, people can have their girlfriends. They did this, you know, AI, you can have a friend, and then if you pay money, she can be your girlfriend, and you can have sex with your AI replica. And then they found out that all their users were getting too into the sex part, and so they curbed that down, and the replica started to, like, change the subject and stuff. So everyone got upset. They're like, well, no, it was so important that I have a cyber sex with your robot, because without that, our relationship wasn't real enough, right? So you can see where we get carried away, right? Like, so modern religion, what is this idolatry? We're getting carried away and distracted by other idols. Or is it that this is actually a new presence in our lives that we have to contend with, that there might be some kind of a spirit or mind in these machines? And that's what the futurists would wonder, is like maybe within the AI, once we've developed it enough, maybe it's sufficient that there is a spirit or soul that enters within it, and they get a bit carried away. The images thing, though, that's something to talk more about. Do images affect us? I think it's important to treat images of each other with care. So for instance, like if I put up images of somebody and there was all these kinds of nasty things happening to them, like arrows and spears were being stuck in them, even if they're not going to be like, I'm not like saying a call to arms, like go get this guy. Me making media, creatively speaking, that has somebody being struck by arrows and spears, is that not a curse, right? Like, am I not in some way kind of like casting out into the world, even if it's like burning incense or, clouds of smoke, am I not casting some kind of a curse, right? And similar, if I make like a YouTube hit piece or, the classic bullying website where I'm like, this is Sarah, and like I make her teeth all rotten and shit, and, like some awful, trying to make her, the most awful person ever. In essence, like a lot of these, I get disturbed by that too, where they have like the sock puppet. They'll have somebody singing and it's somebody else's face and the face is moving around. AI voices, they use someone's voice. I've already surrendered that you can replicate my voice, and it is what it is, but it's kind of fucked up if you think about how easy it is to make a voice replication of somebody, and then you could call bomb threats around all over the place. And then when they're like, who called the bomb threats in? Like, we have it on record. It was this person because it sounds exactly like them, right? So at this point, we can't take auditory things for real. And if video is able to be distorted enough, we can't necessarily take video for real. The issue then becomes, and this is where we're at now as well, AI, images, distortion. How will we know if we see a video of somebody, or if we get a phone call from somebody, like a FaceTime with someone? I hope it's real. We all want it to be real. Of course, it most likely is real, right? But it's not a stretch eventually to think that they could make a completely artificial replication. Like, imagine you get a phone call from your mom and it says, I need your help. Come to this address as soon as possible. You're like, okay, I'm coming. And it wasn't even her, right? That already can happen. So how do we have trust anymore, right? Like, how do we have the, how do we know what to believe or what not to believe if that can even be faked? And, you can't get carried away, but in essence, long term, we must develop ways of authenticating with each other and just sort of like inner language, inner talk, to cue off that this is a real communication and not some sort of BS nonsense, and make it impossible to do a man-in-the-middle attack, which is what it really is, man-in-the-middle, where you intercept communications between people. And you spoof a phone number, so it looks like it's calling from their phone number, but it was really a different phone, right? That's a man-in-the-middle attack, because they're jumping in where the other person would be. It is sad to be so distrusting, but that's where we're at now, with media being so easily compromised, and then the authority figures right now, like people on television, the reporters, the newspaper. You open a newspaper and it's like, these are just all lies. Like, it's basically packaged a spin, right? Trying to hold on, my mouth is dry. It's spin to get you to buy the dominant narrative. And the dominant narrative right now is usually one that serves people in power. It serves to leave you agitated. There's a we'll do some drawing actually. This will be fun. Let's see if I can do this. Oh no. Okay. Look at this. Look at this. We got this. So, first thing we do, because we're reasonable people, you know what reasonable people do? That. Then all right. What is there's like a triangle, right? It's not orbs. We should just do a triangle. Boom. There we go. You guys see how good I am at graphic design? So it seems like there's 3 poles that they want to keep us between. And if they leave us in these spots, then we're more likely to comply and follow their marching orders. Angry, fearful, it's not, I mean, it's like sad, but it's more than sad. I don't think sad is it. For me, it's like, it's hollow. Hollow. It's like you're hungry. So if the typical sources that people go to make sense of reality, like the newspaper, the television, news reporters, I don't know, this or that, even our politicians, right? I don't know, politicians, boo, boo, boo. But if those sources are in service of, what are we doing? This way, right? In service of these things, keeping us angry, fearful, and hollow. Here, I got it. We got this going. Boom. Wait, I screwed up. Nice and easy, right? It's the money. I think this explains a lot of why we have a spiritual deficiency and spiritual crisis right now. It serves people in power, and it serves in the hierarchy. It serves people on the top of hierarchies in every domain. So in industry, in religion, like in the organized religions, in politics, every which way. If most people are angry, fearful, and hollow, they are at the mercy of the world, right? Like the world can manipulate them to do anything that they want them to do. They're happy for you to stay here for as long as possible. And I get suspicious of like some of the depressive media, right? Like I used to really love like emo-y kind of music, like Coldplay, and I still do, and I like to go dancing at the goth club and everything, but at some point there's a dissonance and a disconnection between feeling whole and feeling happy. Here, we'll just doodle. It's fun. If we want to be a happy person, we need to have some kind of shielding from that, and it's not easy to find, right? If you have good friends, then you can find soul and spirit, and you can endure a whole lot if you have a good family. A lot of things, though, chew away and try to sneak in through the edges. So that's why it's important that we turn to each other. It's important that we don't think we can do it all by ourselves. We can have the, now I'm just doodling. We can have the little thing where all the people around the world are holding hands or whatever, right? Everyone's holding hands all around the world. And be idealistic, but, it's not so easy. It's gonna take time, and it's gonna take understanding each other. It's gonna take being patient. I think it's important to mention this. So like, we can be high-minded and think that we're all evolved. Oh, I'm so ethical. I'm so moralistic and, spiritually developed. That's another distance that I'm creating between myself and people, right? And I don't need to separate myself as, holier than or higher than others. Rather than I just need to understand that I'm different and I'm at a different place in my own personal journey, theologically speaking or personally speaking. And everyone has their different place. Like, it's weird to think of, I don't know, I think it's Zen or Buddhism or something, but this idea of like, maybe that guy that's being an asshole on the bus like that's just his job. Like today, he's the asshole on the bus, right? And there's nothing anyone can do about it. He just showed up, and that was the casting call. The bus needs an asshole, and he's there, and he's lighting it up and doing his thing or whatever, and people have to deal with it. And then everyone has an opportunity, and it's, you know, I don't want to be too cheesy, but they have an opportunity to exercise tolerance, or, you know, respond if they need to, like if they need to contain them or something, or I don't know, like whatever it may be. He has created a chance for people to embody their own roles, whatever those may be. If it's someone yelling back at him, someone being patient, someone diffusing it, everyone's just living their lives, right? And for me to say, you're an asshole and you shouldn't be an asshole, you should be something else, is a way of me being at odds with what's just the world, right? Like at some point, that's maybe just his place to be the jerk, you know. And we can hope that the jerk moves on and doesn't stay there, but everyone, the humanists, you know, a person that cares about humans and believes in their potential, a humanist also understands that it doesn't all happen at once. Like you can't force it to happen. You must, it's like a flower blooming, right? Like any organistic process, it has to happen at its own pace, and then as it's necessary, right? Like I'm not going to get my act together until I'm forced to get my act together. I won't confront myself until the consequences, you know, pile up in a way that I can't run from anymore. You know, these different matters. We're all going to encounter reality and encounter the mystic, encounter the strange at our pace. And as we encounter them, it's on us to make use of what tools we have available to understand, and then also like not drown in it all. I hate that there is a suicide epidemic. I hate that with all the progress we've made in all the other domains of human advancement, we still can't figure out how to feel content and happy, and we still haven't figured out how to not have each other like with knives at each other's necks. It's hard for me to not settle on humans just being violent. And if that really is it, if like humans are just violent and we're just going to kill each other and that's that, if that really is it, I mean, it sucks, right? And so I don't want to settle on that. I'd like to think that we can be better. We can, you know, look after each other. But we'll have to see, right? So I'll play us out. We've had a good go, right? This was fun. And for any that watched, for any that joined, I appreciate it. Please leave comments or, you know, anything you may wish, and maybe we'll get some collaboration going. We'll see. The outro. So something fun just happened. I don't know if y'all remember back in the day, there was a this whole dossier about Donald Trump, and he had a piss party. It was on the top, it was the penthouse of the hotel, and he got the hookers, and they were peeing on the bed, and they were doing it all, and it was so good, right? And because it's Saturday, right, like it's almost midnight, I figured our outro today would be this song about a Trump piss party, because that's what we're all gonna do, right? after this ends. So, if you will entertain me, you're welcome to join or you're welcome to leave. Here we go. And then I'll shut it down.
Hey, 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 hey. Goddamn, now I'm a new age man. Baby, I hit the gym, I got a workout plan. Goddamn. The pot is boiling over, too long since I had a hold on. The situation's getting hectic, baby, I can't slow down. I need to let it out, I need to feel alive. Are you catching my drift? Are you feeling the vibe? I wake and bake and eat takeout like every day. I don't fuck with no small talk, I don't care what you wanted to say. I interrupt the conversation, I ain't really got no patience. Tell me what you want and I'll be on my motherfucking way. I got a family, I got a kid, I got another kid, I got a girl, I got a dog, I gotta do a lot of things. I still ain't got no crib in LA where I wanna be. I still ain't got no motherfucking evergreen. Sometimes I need to chill, roll one up, light it up on the sofa with the homies. High as what? High as fuck, that's what's up. Double cup, fill me up, but a cup, yeah, It's one, how can I have some fun too? I want us three jumping in the club. For anybody else, see, I don't wanna fuck around with paparazzi. Fuck you, standing in the lobby. Woo. How you feeling now? Oh man. Yeah. I'm a little out of breath, but the shit ain't finished yet. I'ma fuck your bitch and put the pictures on the internet. I'm taking shit up on your motherfucking head. I'm about to kill them all till every single motherfucker's dead. I'm about to push the button, push the button, push the button. Those sons of bitches, baby, up to something, up to something. Push the button, I'ma push the button, push the button. Let me push the button, push the button. I'ma push the button, push the button, push the button, push the button. I'ma push the button, push the button. Let me push the button, push the button. I'ma push the button, push the button, push the button, push the button. I'ma push the button, push the button. Let me push the button, push the button. I'ma push the button, push the button, push the button.
All right, everyone. Have a good week.